This is Sarah Mikesell with thepigsite.com, and today we're here with Dave Pyburn. He is the Vice President of Science and Technology with the National Pork Board. Thanks for being with us today, Dave.
Thanks, Sarah. Great to be here with you.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit about African swine fever. Can you tell me a little bit about the situation in Asia?
Yeah, I can. I can tell you what we know at this point, through a number of sources of information that we're getting, both officially through the Chinese government, through the OIE, and then also what we're hearing from some of our veterinarians and others that travel to China and come back with maybe some more inside information. As of today, it looks like we're right around 15 of the provinces at least have at least one outbreak. Most of those provinces have multiple outbreaks in them. But when I talk to folks, they get hung up on the number of provinces, they get hung up on the number of outbreaks.
Right.
It's probably not that important. I think we need to consider that for the most part, the virus has now become endemic in China. I don't think it'll be too far off in the future that we'll see that type of a declaration from China. The response that you're seeing as far as shutting down of movements, control of movement of the virus, control of movement of fomites, biosecurity precautions, they all point towards the industry there already really treating it as more of an endemic situation. The very unfortunate thing about African swine fever is that it is a high mortality disease when it breaks in pigs. And again, pigs are the only species that become affected or infected with African swine fever. It's not a disease of cattle, it's not a disease of poultry, and it's certainly not a disease of humans. So the unfortunate thing is that we're seeing reports of high levels of mortality in these herds that are breaking. But there are still some pigs that survive, and there are also potential carriers that can be surviving either in the wild or on some of these farms. So what they're doing right now is what any of us would have to do in the face of an outbreak with African swine fever, and that is they're working to eradicate it on those farms that break. So that means they come in. It's 100% depopulation of the farm, 100% disposal of those pigs, and then biosecurity on that farm to clean up and make sure that we get any virus that might be left behind.
Very good. Now tell me a little bit about diagnostics and how are they using diagnostics from your understanding?
Yeah, so the official report goes out to the OIE. When you have a disease like this and you have official outbreaks or new provinces, or in our case if we had new states, you report to the OIE that you have the virus, we have new infections, and that's all done with PCR testing. So when they get PCR positives on animals, confirmed PCR positives in new farms or in new provinces, that's what spurs them to go ahead and report to OIE that in fact we've got a new outbreak or a new province that's broke. So the PCR is the definitive test in this case. In fact, as we look to prepare for maybe having to deal with this, I hope we don't, but if we have to deal with it, we want to be prepared. As we look to get prepared for that, I've talked with our officials at USDA and I've asked, what is our testing regime that we're going to put into place to in fact show or to have proof that we have the virus if we do? What kind of testing do we have to do? And what I was told is it would be 2 PCR tests positive, and then we'll declare an official positive.
Very good. And that PCR test is so important because
it actually finds the virus, or it's finding DNA from the virus. So we're not looking for antibody that could be potentially antibody from something else. We don't have a vaccine here, so it's not an antibody to a vaccine. But what that PCR test is doing is it's looking for viral DNA, and when it finds it, it spurs a positive on that test. And so it's actual looking for the virus in this case. So if you see it, you know you have either live or dead virus, but you know you had African swine fever virus in that pig.
Right, it's conclusive.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the information today.
You bet, I've enjoyed it.
Very good. This is Sarah Mikesell reporting.